spring practice has always been important. What about in an age where all these transfers come in now and get them settled in and get them into the
Yeah, I mean, that's we had 18 guys have their first college football practice today, and then 32 new players. And so it was day one, like you always say, but you can tell there's a lot of guys that haven't practiced here, and so we got a lot of just little things on how we work that just, needs to get better. It was great seeing everybody out there. You can tell a lot of guys have worked hard in the off season. But when you have a lot of change on a roster, you got a lot of work to do. The chemistry of the team, the timing of things, the communication. And so it's great to be back out there. I mean, it's telling, when you see it. It's going to be a lot to coach off of. But I like the way the guys work. It's just right now, it's like, where are we going? This drill? Where's this drill? It's 32 guys that didn't know where the drills were going to be. You could tell, like, from period to period. And as we go, it's going to get much more efficient. But with that being said, excited, about what's out on the grass. There's a lot of talent out there, so now we just got to get it all pointed in the right direction.
I know it's early, obviously you haven't seen a ton from him out there, but what have you seen from Grayson in terms of what he brings to the QB room right now?
First thing you see is confidence. You can tell that he's won a lot of games. He's very comfortable as a leader, has no problem being vocal, and learns quickly. I like how he handles adversity. If he has a bad play, it's just next play. You can tell there's no body language issues. Liked that about him. But yeah, he's just a natural leader is the first thing that he's a guy, and you can just see that. What I mean by that is he's just very confident. He knows who he is. And the guys around him can feel that, it just oozes out of him.
You mentioned, QB run. Obviously, Brennan was not afraid to take off, take contact. Is that something that we can kind of see from Grayson in the fall, potentially?
Yeah, I mean, he's got that skill set to be a runner. How much we run him, obviously, we got a lot of work to do before that happens. But even when he drops back, like Brennan, he's going to have some freelancing that goes on because of his athleticism. And then the design runs, that comes over time, and you just have to see the evolution of things. But he has the skill set to be a runner, and that's the one thing that you're going to have to account for is him in the run game, even if it's limited to certain situations or field positions or down and distances. You're going to have to know that he can do that because obviously over his career he's been very dynamic as a runner.
Coach, getting Aiden White back for another year, just how huge is that for this defense?
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't given up a touchdown in 2 years. Knock on wood, let's go for 3, right? But not many people can say they have a corner that's got that accolade. He's a really good football player for us. He's a playmaker. He's elevated himself as a leader. You can hear him talking to teammates, more vocal. But it's great to have him back. I'm excited for him to have this time to develop a little more and be more ready for the NFL after one more season. So it's great to have corners that you trust. Like, that's a big deal when you know that he's got his side of the field. And now to get to watch Coley, who you guys just met with, and Brandon Cisse, and some good competition on the other side. It's going to be fun to watch.
We talk about all the turnover when it comes to players, but you have so much continuity on your full-time staff. How much does that help?
Blessed, it's really nice to have these guys back. I told them yesterday in our staff meeting, I'm very thankful that we have that kind of continuity. It helps you in a lot more ways than just X's and O's. When you get into the recruiting world, these guys have been in the same areas, talking to the same coaches now for 5-6 years, some of them, and that's really helpful in recruiting. When you're turning over a coach year after year after year, you're losing that longevity in an area of recruiting, those relationships that you've built. And so, yeah, I mean, it helps there, helps in your player development, helps in your install because coaches are all on the same page, and it helps me. I'm not having to coach coaches as much. We've lost some off-the-field personnel, which we're having to change out in some of those areas, and so, excited about who's coming in. We've hired 2 new guys in recruiting and really excited about them. At some point, you guys are going to meet with them as well. But fortunate, and Boo deserves credit with that too. Boo's done a great job helping us, being competitive and rewarding these guys for the work they've done.
What does that say about the culture you built, in this program that coaches want to stay and
Yeah.
they see it kind of keep going?
It's meaningful for me, being here as long as I have and having coaches that these guys have gotten opportunities. It's not like nobody calls them, They like working here. They like working for me. They like their players. They like Raleigh. They love our opportunity here with what we have on home games. We have a true home field advantage. We can recruit here. As you guys know, there's tremendous talent in the state and around our state. And they know that we have an opportunity this season, with the college football landscape changing to 12 teams. Teams like us that have been in the top 20 over and over and over can knock on the door differently than we used to. So, I think these guys feel all those things. And for me as the head coach that's, been a part of building this, I'm thankful to those guys. And it's fun. The continuity goes past the coaching staff. Coach Thunder's been with me the whole time too. And Coach Trevathan, our high school relations, there's several guys that are a part of this.
How's this offseason kind of been different for you?
Different, 32 new players, real different. Trying to build chemistry with the team. We've done a lot of different things that way. In our Real World Wednesday talks that we have, which is leadership that we teach in the offseason, it's just been us talking to us, players, coaches, getting up, telling their stories, talking about some really, really deep things personally to them, trying to, break down some walls and create vulnerability on our football roster. And it's been different that way. When you just add 10 to 15 guys mid-year, it's not as hard to integrate, but 32 is a lot. It's a lot. And so for me, it's been, all right, how do we get this glue, this bond that we need? Because that's what wins games. When games are tight, one-possession games, that brotherhood is a big part of winning. And so I got to really cultivate that.
You mentioned you were able to knock on some different doors this offseason. How much different was the, being able to recruit in the transfer portal given the way the season ended up, and as opposed to where it was at 4-3 earlier?
Momentum helps, winning 5 in a row to finish the regular season helps, and the teams we beat, some storied programs, back to back with Clemson and Miami, and then all those things matter. And you get hot, people are talking about you more, and that's all happening around the signing date and the transfer portal. And we were a hot team at the right time, and we took advantage of that. And we have stability, which you guys have talked about. That's an important factor to these guys. And a lot of these kids that transfer went to a school, and the coach that recruited them is not there anymore, And so our staff that recruited them is still here. And so that's attractive to them. They know our people. They know how we do things. They have friends on our roster, and all those things played into it. And it's kind of a trickle down, you get one and he's friends with this guy that's also in there, and then they want to play together, and then pretty soon it's like, let's get the group back together that played in all these 7-on-7 tournaments. Like, it's amazing how this works now with social media and how these kids stay in touch with each other. So it's interesting times, and I've turned into more of a fundraiser than ever, because of all this stuff. That's part of this, is getting out and helping Wolfpack and Savage Wolves raise money, for our collective.
By not finding a kicker in the portal, does that show the confidence you have in your current kickers?
Yeah, I feel really good about the specialists that we have. Now they got to get out and prove it, and obviously game day is different. But we have some guys that have been here a while, and have earned our trust, And so I feel really good about Kanoa, Veneset, Colin Smith. And we got 2 young guys coming in that have strong legs, but those 2 guys have been here. They understand how we do things. They're very, very, very talented, and they've earned our trust.
You talked about the different transfers that knew each other coming in. How have you seen that, help, I guess, the team kind of, grow together with some of these guys already having that relationship?
Yeah, I mean, the built-in friends coming in the door, that helps, right? 32 guys, if none of them know each other, that's more challenging than if some of them do. And so, yeah, there were some relationships, not only within the guys that came in, but with the guys currently on our team. And as you know, we recruit a lot of in-state guys, so a lot of these guys have met over the years at camps and camps and 7-on-7 tournaments and things like that. They knew each other from competition, and those friendships help for sure when you're talking about building chemistry on your roster.